Outriders is a new 1-3 co-op sci-fi shooter from People Can Fly, the team that brought you Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment. Their latest project is an attempt to fuse RPG and shooter gameplay in a fun new way without the drawbacks of a live service game, loot boxes, or pay-to-win tactics. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, PC, and next generation PS5 and Xbox Series X this holiday season. If there's anything the studio People Can Fly excels at, it's creating vibrant worlds worth exploring and mixing them with shooters that feel fun to play through. Their previous game Bulletstorm was a prime example of that, and their newest game Outriders feels like an evolution of it. The world of Outriders is one of chaos, destruction, and despair. Earth has been destroyed, reduced to atoms by the destruction of war, climate change, and humanity. With it no longer able to sustain life, humanity looked towards the stars for salvation. Fast forward to the year 2159, and 2 colony ships were sent to the suspected habitable world of Enix. Only one of the 2 ships make it into the planet's orbit, and luckily we're on it. We play as an Outrider, the first to touch down on this new planet and tasked with determining whether it's safe for the rest of the ship to land. At first glance, Enix is a beautiful home. Its vibrant, saturated environment is utter beauty to the eye, but there's more to this alien planet than meets the eye. During our exploration, we're caught off guard by a wild storm that catches the rest of the team by surprise. This violent windstorm has catastrophic effects on just about everyone it touches, destroying some to just atoms while others are somehow mutated. We luckily make it back to our cryopod and get put to sleep in hopes of being rescued at some point in the future, but help never comes. Instead, we wake up 30 years later to a vastly different world. The storm continued on, mutating the world and life on it. What was once a flourishing planet is now a wasteland, continuously torn apart by faction wars between those that were just looking for a new home in the first place. We were one of the lucky few to survive the storm but come back mutated, with powers that aid us in battle but also makes us less human the more powerful we become. Now it's up to us to make sense of this new world and try to salvage what's left of humanity. Going through the first hour of the game, I got the chance to explore both the main campaign and side quests hidden away in the corners of the sandbox. I ended up playing 2 playthroughs, one diving into the main campaign with a partner, and the other playing solo looking for all the side quests. For those curious, I was playing on a high-end PC, though this was a preview build, so I wouldn't judge it too harshly as the game is still unfinished. This is also a cross between current generation and the next generation, so I'm sure people's expectations are naturally going to be set high for next gen. Anyway, upon starting the demo, I was asked to select one of 3 classes. In the final game, there's a total of 4 classes, but for our preview, we only got shown 3, which consisted of the Pyromancer, Trickster, and Devastator. Each class is unique with its own powers that slowly evolve as you level them up through its in-game RPG level system. You can think of the Pyromancer class as the medium-range fire class. They recover health by killing enemies that are marked by your flame skills. Trickster, on the other hand, is a close-range class that uses spaces and time powers. They recover health whenever an enemy is killed in close range. Lastly, the Devastator class also uses close-range combat but uses earth-based powers instead. They also recover health by taking out any enemies close by to them. For the main playthrough, I went with the Trickster class while my partner chose the Devastator class. As a close-range duo, we often found ourselves working in conjunction with each other's powers, and that certainly added to the fun factor during gameplay. As waves of enemies would come after us, I'd freeze a group in time while my partner would launch fissures at them. We'd finish up the job with our weapons and heal each other in the process. Even as complete strangers at this press event, we quickly got a handle on the combat and were in complete synergy during the gameplay. Combat felt evenly split between effectively using my powers and my guns in a perfect balance. I was able to carry around 2 primary weapons along with a pistol, while my powers only had 1 skill, but I quickly unlocked new skills as I began to level up. Weapons, on the other hand, can be found while on missions like in treasure chests or purchased from local merchants. Along with these weapons are accessories like new pieces of clothing, each with their own stats. This is all presented in an inventory system that looks similar to something like Destiny or Anthem. It was easy to navigate and understand, with stats easily labeled and color-coded to show what was a higher level than what I already had. During combat, I couldn't help but feel the DNA of PCF's previous titles. Imagine the fantastic gunplay of Bulletstorm but with the third-person camera and movement of Gears of War. Well, sort of like the movement in Gears of War. Here it feels way less tanky, and I absolutely love it. That classic cover system foundation is still here, but I don't feel like a slow-moving magnet anymore. It's a much more fluid system. Aside from tackling the waves of enemies, I also got to tackle a boss with my partner, a mutated soldier that had the power to shoot lightning out of his body. They were tough, providing a fun fight that actively used their powers and the environment to put a lot of pressure on us during the firefights. Once again, we were challenged to cleverly rotate our powers and weapons to take down the boss, heal ourselves, and survive. Dodging lightning strikes, shockwaves, and bolts of lightning, we had a blast. After finishing the campaign, I did go back as a female this time and tried to find some of the side content to do. Surprisingly, I found 2 missions, a mission where a merchant was being robbed and another where a girl was being attacked by a missionary. Both optional quests offered a new area to explore, including fighting new waves of enemies and unlocking some cool loot and extras in the process. For example, helping out the merchant opened up a brand new weapon shop in the shopping area, giving us discounts on weapons too. Additionally, that side story gave more context to that area and the world as a whole that I wouldn't have known otherwise. I think that's important to note because while anyone can just add side objectives, it takes effort to make them part of the story, along with actually rewarding the player for taking the time to embark on these extra missions. Rather than just creating a shooter with RPG elements, People Can Fly's goal with Outriders was to create an RPG first that just so happens to be a shooter when it comes to combat, and I think they've nailed it. I played Warframe, Anthem, Division, and Destiny all across the last few years, and yes, Outriders feels a little bit like a bit of all of them. What I think it'll excel at is providing incentives to keep on playing, and providing that content both in the main and side objectives, while making me feel like I'm not being pushed to just buy some microtransaction. It's the appeal of a multiplayer live service game, but without the commercial practices of a free-to-play or a live service game. Those were my general thoughts on Outriders. I'm overall pretty excited about the scope of this game. I feel like it might be the type of game I play through for review, but then go back and keep on playing post-launch with my friends during my free time. If you have any questions about the game, do let me know in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to answer, or maybe even make a second part to this preview, answering a bunch of them. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned because I'll be doing a preview like this one for Persona 5 Royale, the English version, later next week.